What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, Joker back again, once again, and according to Activision, Destiny 2 is underperforming. Gasp, shock, surprise, horror. During an earnings call, it was revealed that Call of Duty isn't doing well either. Could it have something to do with the annualization of a franchise for over a decade and the eventual decline that that's going to cause? Also, and get this shit, Diablo Immortal was somehow, someway, received poorly. I wonder why.
I was curious, I see a lot of mechanics that we've kind of been begging for in Diablo 3 in this. Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
You can play on your tablet too.
This is probably just one of those life's greatest mysteries things that we'll never really truly be able to understand. But, moving on from the mysteries of the unknowable, Destiny 2 Forsaken isn't performing as well as expected. One quote from Forbes reads, "Some of our other franchises, like Destiny, are not performing as well as we'd like," was the exact quote, followed up by a promise to create more content and pursue additional forms of monetization. "We have not yet seen full core re-engagement in Destiny," said Activision COO Cody Johnson, which has led to the underperformance against expectations to date. "Some players are in wait-and-see mode. If you're in, you're deeply engaged. If not, we think now is the time to bring players back." What? Destiny 2? Underperforming? How is that? How is that even possible? How could this have happened? Everybody knows that Destiny 2 was perfect at launch. Curse of Osiris was a masterpiece. And if there was a word to describe a masterpiece, but even more masterful of a piece, it would surely be used to describe Warmind. Oh wait, none of that's true. Destiny 2 was released half-baked, dumbed down, and designed to push people into the cash shop. Curse of Osiris was a lifeless cash-in on a character from the lore that everybody was ecstatic to finally see introduced, but ultimately let down by. Warmind was more or less what I just said about Curse of Osiris. However, it did have some gameplay improvements, and there was novelty found with Escalation Protocol and the Whisper of the Worm quest, which came at the end of the DLC's lifecycle. But at this point, the damage was done, and it was far too late, as Warmind didn't bring the sweeping changes that Destiny needed desperately to get people excited for Forsaken. In fact, Warmind wasn't out all that long before Forsaken was being advertised for, and Destiny 2 needed to go from a bad game to a really good game in that Season Pass window before Forsaken, and it didn't. So, people disengaged with the franchise. And somehow, someway, I think Activision thinks that these people are just in wait-and-see mode. That's not what happened. You've categorically burnt that bridge. We hear so much about entitled gamers. I want something in a game, I complain that it's not there. "Oh, Joker, you're just being entitled!" Even though it's a pretty reasonable ask. Or, how about with BlizzCon? They announced Diablo Immortal. People are like, "What the fuck is this?" And there's backlash. The games press comes out and they're like, all these entitled gamers, they need to go to hell. They need to quit playing games. They're ruining gaming, blah, 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 blah. What you never hear about is entitled publishers and entitled developers. Activision has deluded themselves into believing that gamers are just in wait-and-see mode. No, the people who bought Forsaken, the people who are willing to give Forsaken a chance, have probably already bought the game. That is your core now. The people who are playing Forsaken right now is your core. Sure, you will probably see an influx of sales around the holiday season. That being said, there is a season pass and there's a new DLC on its way, so maybe not. People tend to not like buying games and then having to buy more stuff to play that game when they just bought it and the game hasn't actually been out that long. More so when there's experiences like Red Dead Redemption that they can go get, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But if I was a betting man, I would argue that the reason the DLC is in December is not because they're hoping to get a bunch of sales for Forsaken over the holidays. It's because they're hoping to sell the DLC in December, which is actually pretty clever when your game's being engaged with. But like I was saying, being on the ground level, making these videos, talking to people that have completely disengaged with the game, it's not a wait and see thing. It's a you've burnt this bridge thing. Everybody gave Destiny 1 a shot, and Destiny 1 released as a piss poor game. It just felt great to shoot, but it was eh. And then it had some bad DLC, and then finally saw what it could be with Taken King. With Destiny 2, we're going through that exact same thing again. So people have just checked out. I can't count the number of times I've seen the comment, Forsaken looks cool, but I'm not willing to give Bungie any more of my money, which is fair, and it's something that Bungie and Activision will have to deal with Destiny 3. Speaking of Destiny 3, or even just Destiny 2 DLC, we know that Black Armory is coming in December, and if things hold pattern, it's going to be the first or second Tuesday of December. And yet, we've not heard anything about Black Armory. Curse of Osiris and The Dark Below, by comparison, were both announced in October, and here we are well into November, and nothing. Destiny 3, if the leaks are to be believed, won't release until 2020, and the next year, 2019, will consist of another season pass. And it's unclear if we'll get another Forsaken-style DLC in the fall of 2019, or if it'll be smaller season pass-style DLCs bolted onto the framework of Forsaken. We have somewhat of a roadmap for what the DLC releases in early 2019 will look like, but we have no idea what that DLC will consist of. And Bungie is playing everything really close to their chest, which actually puts less faith in the brand, not more. Anyways, so where does this leave us? Well, Bungie needs to find a way to re-engage the core. The way to do this is likely to give players more of what they want. Go full RPG, with stats and builds and weapons and gear, with story. But something like a classic BioWare RPG would be hard to bolt onto Destiny 2, even in its current Forsaken iteration. So, save that for Destiny 3. And instead of coming out with this attitude, the attitude that they had for Destiny 2, that they need to dumb things down for players, try trusting that players will find a way. But between now and Destiny 3, just do more of what you did with Forsaken. The unfortunate reality is, players are going to drop off. We saw this with Taken King, we saw it with Rise of Iron, it's just what happens. There are other games out like Red Dead Redemption or Warframe, which is Destiny 2's biggest competitor, a free-to-play game that just released Fortuna, a big expansion pack, on PC, and will be releasing that on consoles soon enough. So ignoring what's worked with something like Forsaken, and doing something stupid like, I don't know, monetizing the fuck out of Destiny 2 and pushing more DLC out before it's ready to come out, like it seems the plan might just be, will do nothing more than make people think that Destiny is a bigger joke than they already think it is, because that really is the public perception of the Destiny community outside of the Destiny community. All other gamers think we're just a bunch of idiots. And to a point, they're kind of right. And hey, I'm throwing myself in there with the idiots, so, you know, because I am nothing if not an eternal optimist. I think that Destiny will one day be the game that we deserve, and I think that Forsaken is a huge step in the right direction. And to cut off anybody who thinks I'm just a mindless hater before they start posting in the comments, here's my Luna's howl, because, you know, mindless haters grind the fuck out of comp. But hey, fucking details. Am I right? Am I right or am I right? I'm right. So getting back to something that resembles some semblance of a point, essentially what I'm saying is, if they don't do what's been working, if they go back to this kind of Oh man, we need to put content out and we need to sell everything, sell all the things. Why don't we have a cash shop in the game that sells exotics like in Korea? Hey, if we do that and we put Last Word in the cash shop day one, everybody will buy it and we'll make millions of dollars. If they do that, your entire core is gonna disengage. So let's maybe not monetize the fuck out of the game. Let's maybe not rush DLC out. Let's maybe make good games. I know. Novel fucking concept. And it might sound a little trite, but if you build it, they will come. If you build a good game, people will buy it. Look at God of War. Look at Red Dead Redemption 2. Look at Club Penguin and Roblox. Okay, I'm trolling on those last couple, but you get my point. If you build a good game, people will buy it. And I think that message is pivotal to Bungie. And it seems to be that there might be some infighting going on between Bungie and Activision, which is good. If Bungie continues in the fashion of Destiny 2 Year 1, and they abandon what they've done with Forsaken, because they need to monetize more and they need to push content out faster, then they'll lose all that goodwill. They'll no longer be remembered as the company that made Halo. They'll be remembered as the company that spent a decade trying to figure out how to develop a game again. Their brand will be damaged beyond all repair. And I think, surprisingly enough, Bungie actually understands this. Take this with a huge heap of salt. After the Activision comment, Luke Smith, the game director of Destiny 2, who may or may not be the director of Destiny 3, or the director of the entire franchise, had this to say. We are not disappointed with Forsaken. We set out to build a game that Destiny players would love, and at Bungie, we love it too. Building Destiny for players who love it is and will remain our focus going forward, which is actually kind of the closest thing to an apology that we've gotten for Destiny 2, so there is that. So whether this is true and the future is bright, or whether we'll see Activision and its boot on Bungie's neck forcing its hand, still remains to be seen. And depending on Black Armory and how that's handled, this could be a very amusing tweet to come back to in a few weeks' time. But to Bungie's credit, it does look like they finally snapped out of that mentality that led them to develop Destiny 2 the way they did, and realized it's a whole lot less work if you just get it right from the start and endeavor to give the players what they want, what you know they want, what works. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and like always, stay frosty. What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again, once again, and this is after the video Joker, which I don't do a lot. Anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know that I have a Patreon now. So if that's something you have been wanting me to do, like so many of you surprisingly enough have, I don't understand that, but you want to support the channel and you've been asking for it, so here it is. You can find the link in the description below, and yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm really nervous about this, really, I guess anxious would be the word, because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but I also want you guys to feel like you're getting value for supporting my channel. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and like I always say, stay frosty.